Let's talk Draymond real quick.
Yeah.
10 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. Obviously, the box score doesn't do Draymond numbers.
Of course.
I think Draymond's been phenomenal to open the season. He looks quicker than he looked in the playoffs. If you believe the back was limiting him, this is evidence for that. Because in my opinion, he just looks faster than he did back then. Defense is always going to be there. IQ is always going to be there, but a little more aggressive attacking the basket. Overall, just looks honestly as good as he looked to open last year, if not a little better. And it's interesting because when you think about the backdrop of him not getting the extension and him being like, I'm playing for it. Yeah, man, he looks great.
It's pretty obvious that he was hurt in the postseason now, right?
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious. We didn't really talk about that. I think you and I sat here a lot and talked about them struggling, but it just never occurred to me that back was still bothering him. I always feel like when you're out there, right? With Clay, same thing. You're out there. But it's obvious that Dre was compromised. It's actually pretty amazing he didn't bring any of that stuff up, knowing Clutch and how they operated. It's crazy that he didn't bring up,
hardest road.
The documentary was crazy, by the way. Of the couple weeks, we're not talking about that. Draymond has been incredible. In his words, absolutely incredible. Some of the cool stuff is he's actually cutting to the rim. It's really not about making those layups, although you always want him to make those layups, but he's taking them with force, with actual force.
Yeah,
right. Like today, I watched. I was busy. I couldn't catch the end of the Nets Mavs game, but I saw the beginning of the game and I saw Ben Simmons pretty much have a wide open. He actually didn't play that bad. Simmons didn't, but he went viral because he had a wide open. 5-footer. He could have taken another dribble and just dunked it, right? Peak Ben would have done that, but he shoots like a hesitant floater, airballs it, and he's just not playing with force. Who always says with force? Is it Steve Kerr that always says that? I think he always says that. And so I think Draymond's doing that on offense right now, which is pretty encouraging. Can you say that it's contract year, Draymond? Can we say that? I don't know if it's technically is next year is his contract year, but anyway, he's playing like it.
Yeah, and he said, I'm going to have a great season. I'm going to feel motivated by it. And you never really know how people react to it, but it's not surprising to me Draymond's reacting to it. I mean, do not confuse him punching a teammate and kind of having discretions with him not being a phenomenal basketball player. Would I prefer he didn't do that sort of stuff? Obviously. And am I willing to say like you have to factor that into your decision making with do you want to keep going forward? Like, yes, those are decisions that GMs, owners, coaches have to make. It's just reality. But he's a very special player. Like, it's just not that easy to find guys who can do all the things he can do, namely anchor a defense, get you out in transition, make all the high IQ plays he makes. Like, a lot of the Warriors' offense is based off of the fact that they generate easy offense, and who leads to easy offense more than Draymond Green?
Yeah. I'm doing a lot of ums today. I got to cut that out. Cut that out the pod, producer Tim. Help me out here, brother. Thank you. You look at the game tonight, and there's a lot of highly paid players on the Warriors. There's a lot of highly paid player on the Miami Heat. Duncan Robinson gets a lot of money to do absolutely nothing out there. Draymond gets what, 20, 25 million a year, and his next contract isn't going to be much more than that, right? So, but you watch the games, and especially when you watch these playoff games, and you cannot tell me that Draymond, whatever his contract is rated, that he's at that level. He is a lot higher than that. He is a lot higher than what Poole's getting paid, what Duncan Robinson getting spent. This is not slander for the other guys. It's just, I think you talked about it once. It's just those guys don't get paid. Those defensive goons, glue guys that can't get a bucket, right? Like, those guys don't get $30 million. And maybe that was part of what Draymond's angst was. But, dude, whatever he did to get through that, or maybe that punch helped him get through it. I don't know. Maybe he unloaded and it helped him, vent out the frustrations. That's his therapy, right? Whatever it is, dude, he is out there.
Deepak Chopra told him to just hit Poole and get rid of it. Get rid of that negative energy. We're good to go. We're good. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's like I say, it's two separate conversations. Would I prefer he not fly off the handle like that? Of course. I don't think he wants to do that. I don't think anyone does. But I'm not going to pretend he's not as good a player as he is because he does stuff that I don't like. Like the reality is that's how life works. Sometimes people you work with are not your favorite people in certain things, but you have to make judgment calls on if they provide enough value to justify it. In his case, he does. I'm sorry.
Yep.
And it's, there's a lot of games. We're in game 5. Got 77 more of these suckers and hopefully some playoffs too.